Okay, so I think we are live. Hi, I'm hoping we're live. I'm hoping this is live, and I'm hoping this stream is now a stream that is out in the universe for the 2.5 people to listen to. Today, we're going to be hanging out in Paris, France. Today also happens to be my lucky day because I am streaming on this gigantic iMac that you cannot see. You may be able to see it in the reflection over there. Wait. There. You can see the iMac there, a little bit of it. See that thing there? That's the iMac. And I'm getting to stream on this today because my last stream was on the MacBook Air, and it was a terrible experience for me to even stream. So I don't know how bad it must have been to watch it because there's just so much lag and the ping is so high that there's no fun, especially with something like Google Earth, which is kind of like a lot of the experiences made better by the fact that the exploring that we do on Street View is as seamless as possible. So when you give in to poor hardware like my 2013 MacBook Air, you're bound to have a poor experience while surfing it, and poorer experience when you are watching as an audience. So I thought I'll make some changes to that. I'm now shifted to the iMac, which is a gazillion times better than my MacBook Air. This looks very interesting. What is this structure? What is this structure? Very, very interesting. Hmm. Okay, so I did a bunch of test streams with Paris, France. So this is my attempt at trying to get it out of the system because I think that I'm going to do this one stream in Paris and then I'm done with this city because I have done so many streams of this city that I am no longer excited while looking at its alleys as I was with with some of the cities that I did for the first time. So this is not something I'm going to be looking at for the first time. Of course, because of my habit of going into a random street and exploring it, there is a good chance that we're going to explore a new street of Paris altogether because it's humanly impossible to, well, technically it's possible to explore every single street on Street View, but it sounds a little nuts to be doing that. Before I turn you away, I'd like to quickly make it tell you about the agenda for this stream. I want to talk about ideas today. I want to like put forth a lot of the story ideas that I have. I'm a screenwriter. I'm a professional screenwriter. Uh, I write. I've also worked as an assistant director before I started writing television series, and I also write ads occasionally. So I'm a writer predominantly, and I've just started off. This is my third year uh, as a professional screenwriter, so I have a long career to go if I stick around, that is, and I intend to stick around. Like, longevity is something that I respect and I look forward to a lot, and some of my favorite artists are people who have spent a lot of time uh, working in the arts. Take Spielberg, take Scorsese, people who have started very young and kind of stuck around because they love the craft so much. And it's I really relate to them because it's a very similar situation with me as well. Because I too feel that I wouldn't enjoy doing something else as much as I would enjoy doing uh, screenwriting and filmmaking in general. uh, on a more general levels, storytelling. It's something that I that I think I'm good at, and it's something I really, really like doing. So let's dive into any random street. I really like the idea of Notre Dame Fatima. I thought it's just Notre Dame. I didn't know there's a Fatima in there. See this? Notre Dame Fatima. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. You want to check it out? It seems very highway-ish. It seems like a freeway. I think we should check out something that's a lot more cozier. Sorry, I'm taking a lot of time to make up my mind here. Please bear with me. Let's go back to 2D view and check out what we want, where we want to go. Mosque Bangladesh. Very interesting. I want to see Mosque Bangladesh actually. I think that would be worth going to Street View for. Okay, let's go to the street that has Mosque Bangladesh and we'll take it from there. And we swoop down, and here we are. Ooh, I did not expect this to be such a tiny street. Uh, I especially didn't expect it the first time I did this, by the way. I thought that Paris is very, very similar to New York in terms of its streets, and I was expecting really huge streets. But when I got into street views, when I realized that Paris has these really, really tiny streets. So a lot of the streets in Paris are, uh, you know, similar to the street we're looking at right now. They're very tiny, they're very cozy. See, at most you'll probably have like one car going at a time. At best case scenario, two cars. Nice brick stone building. I really like this kind of buildings. I really wish for a stone building for myself at some stage in my life. I'd like to own a home that looks kind of similar to this. At least the material. This is something I really enjoy looking at. This texture gets me really excited. Why did they blur this? Was it something sensitive? Anyway, let's quickly check out Mosque Bangladesh and get the hell out of here. Something I was talking about a lot in my test stream as well. I was really surprised to see a lot of these two wheelers in Paris. I guess that's how the French call it. I want to be a Shana, but yeah. Oh, this is a sweet little visual. Look at this guy, smoke in hand, other hand tugging at that leash, dog looking at the Google car. Quite a view. Anyway, let's check out the mosque and get out. I'm guessing this is the mosque. I'm guessing there's an entrance here somewhere. Is this it? No, where are we? I thought that was a mosque. Bangladesh mosque. Bangladesh has street view, by the way. So does Sri Lanka. And India doesn't have street view because the Indian government is a questionable entity. Uh, hey, this texture on the street, love it. I guess I'm just a general sucker for stone. Or please forgive me if this material is not stone. Looks stone to the naked eye. Guess it's stone. It must be stone. Come on, what else could it be? It can't be. It's not fucking plastic. Oops, sorry. Okay, let's get right into it then. Today I want to talk about uh, telling stories and also the general process of coming up with ideas and the ideas that kind of stick around to nag in your head and constantly kind of like uh, you know poke at your conscious and ask you to ask you to realize it. And there are those ideas that get you excited for a few minutes, you note it down, and you forget about it. So when it comes to my life, for me, predominantly ideas come from uh, general experiences in daily life. Uh, it doesn't come from uh, what happens in my personal life as much as it comes from my experiences on the internet because I virtually live on the internet. I spend a lot of time on it. Either I'm reading or I'm watching. Mostly I'm reading. I spend at least 6 hours a day reading stuff. Oh, we're back in the same street. I think we're going to take a right here. Right. Like I was saying, I spend a lot of my time reading. I'm on Reddit a lot. I've tried my best to wean myself off of unproductive social media websites such as Instagram, Facebook. I am very fond of Twitter, although it's a criminal waste of time. So I would like to wean myself off of Twitter at some point. Reddit is useful. Uh, uh, the fact that there's so much porn on it doesn't help, but it's an incredibly useful site. It's also, in my opinion, the most intelligent place on the internet. Uh, Again, I'm a learning internet aficionado, so if there is something that's more intelligent and more fun than Reddit, I would love to know about it. So Reddit, some of the subreddits that I enjoy, African specialities. Is that what it's saying? Is that a thing? African? I mean, shouldn't it be like a particular cuisine, like Nigerian, Ethiopian? I don't know. Wondering aloud. Ask Reddit is one of my favorite subreddits. I really enjoy checking out Ask Reddit. So if you want to check it out, that's www.reddit.com slash alphabet R slash ask Reddit. You've got the Reddit community asking questions, and you've got the Reddit community answering questions on Ask Reddit, and some incredible discussions on a daily basis can be found on that subreddit. Uh, Ask Reddit is my go-to subreddit. Usually, some of the questions there are just incredible. It's so well asked. You know, those questions kind of like elicit thought out answers. Sometimes they elicit funny answers, scandalous answers. There are all kinds of questions and there are all kinds of answers on Ask Reddit, and they also serve as great premises. They serve as a source of genesis for news stories, and I really enjoy Ask Reddit for that reason. Although I go into that subreddit with no ulterior motive, I just go there to kill time, and more often than not, I come out with a story idea. Uh, Most of the time, I don't do anything about these story ideas. I just catalog them. I use, I think this is probably one of the first times I'm looking at a Parisian bus. We've got these cycles here as well. So I come from the state of Karnataka in India, uh, and I've lived most of my life in its capital city of Bangalore, and Karnataka has done a tremendous job with setting up cycle facilities like this one here. And what's amazing is that they're free. So I think we're learning from some of the best cities in the world, Paris being one of them. So it's a matter of immense pride for me as an Indian to see that a facility that exists in a beautiful city like Paris is also something that now exists in my own city of Bangalore. Not just Bangalore, smaller cities of Karnataka as well, such as Mysore, also have the facility of those cycles. Okay, some meat being presented for us. I'm a vegetarian myself, but I have no objection to other people eating meat. I have, I'm not very passionate about the vegetarian cause. I'm vegetarian by choice, and I do not have any other reason for supporting it. I just have a very nauseating feeling when I eat meat, so I stay off of it. I also believe that if you're a vegetarian, you could go all your life without eating meat and you won't miss out on anything. I know that is a very controversial statement, but it has served me as the truth for 28 years of my life, so I'm good. I have tried meat. I have not enjoyed it. It's not as much as the flavor as it is the texture. I think I've mentioned texture thrice already. It's not as much as the flavor. Yeah. Anyway, we're on a main road. I don't like main roads. I like smaller, cozier streets because they have a lot more character. At least Parisian small streets have a lot more character for sure. What's happening? What's happening here? Very interesting. I'm talking about these things. Is that like supposed to be something artsy? This dude is fascinated by the Google car. He's just like checking it out. So is this lady. So to catalog ideas, I use this software called Evernote. Evernote. McDonald's. Is there anything more comforting than a McDonald's? I hate eating at a McDonald's, but I like looking at a McDonald's and feeling at home because it's like Christianity or Islam. It's everywhere. It's like they're missionaries. I think the M stands for missionaries because they just go all around the world propagating their religion of fried food and processed shit. I love McDonald's. Hey, Uber Eats. Uh, the comedian Russell Brand had said something very interesting and it stuck with me for a while. He came to India and he has these stream of consciousness sets where he rants and he rants and rants and rants and you get the feeling that he doesn't really prepare too much. He just goes out there and speaks his mind, which is uh, both a good thing and a bad thing. A good thing because every set is new and every set you're getting to experience something different, and you just don't get to see something that you must have seen already on YouTube. But it's bad because he can just go on and on and on and he can go off topic and he does not realize that he is ranting and we're at wit's end. But thankfully Russell Brand was on top of his game when he performed in Mumbai and I was witness to his set. He was Is this guy waving at us? I think he is. Yep. He's really in love with us. Hey buddy. Russell Brand said this interesting thing where he spoke to uh, Indians at large and said that what happened to you guys? As in, what happened to you Indians? Why are you trading the beautiful symbols of the East with the symbols of the West? And by the symbols of the East, he meant our deep history when it comes to yoga, when it comes to Hinduism, when it comes to Buddhism, when it comes to all the philosophy, the Eastern philosophies. And we've become this bankrupt country where we are kind of shunning all those ideals for the simple ideal of capitalism that is propagated by the West. And the symbols of the West become your logos of McDonald's and Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Facebook and Google and all these things. And it really stayed with me. And every time I realize that I know more about capitalism than I know about the philosophies of my land. Like, I think I know more about capitalism than I know about Buddhism, and that kind of makes me sad. But it's the reality, and I'm a pragmatist, so I'm not going to mourn over it. But every now and then, you're a guy, you're gonna sit, you're gonna think, and you can't help but feel sad, and that's how life is. Beautiful building up ahead, guys. Um, really glad we're able to do this, and we're like accidentally stumbling upon this pretty structure. Change of day. Looks like our driver got tired. Check this out. Overcast day. I like overcast days. I really associate overcast weather with the Western world. So I really feel at home when I see overcast weather. I feel very disconcerted when it's bright and sunny and we're somewhere in New Jersey. Like, I expect it. It's the East Coast. In my head, it's snowing all the time. Pretty building. I wonder what this place is called. Looks like a church. Is it a church? Is it like a metropolitan building? Should we go out of Street View to check it out quickly? Let's do that. What is that place? What do you guys think? I wish I had like 1,000 subscribers at least so that someone could just tell me what this is. Oh, maybe I don't need 1,000 subscribers. It's apparently a hotel. I just read it. I just read it. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. What? I just read it. I swear to God. Hotel something. There you go. Hotel de Ville. Thank you. Appreciate it. Did you know we just passed by a canal? I did not notice. I think we need to go back in there. Okay, and it's a very pretty canal. If you have the time to look, that is. I use Evernote and Google Keep to catalog my ideas. My ideas are most of the times they're links to articles, they're blocks of text that I just select, copy, paste, and annotate. I give it context. I say this is where I found this note. This is what it meant to me, and this is what I want to make out of it. And prima facie, I think this is going to make for a great TV show, or this will make for a great movie, or someday I want to make a 40 edition graphic novel out of it. So I usually do something like that and just file it away and forget about it. And 99% of the time, I do not remember to pull it back out, at least in the medium term. So say I filed something away today, and we're in the month of May in 2020, there's a good chance that I revisit it in 2022 or 2023. And I like that because a lot has happened in that gap in those 2 3 years, and I've changed as a person. And what I realize is that either I realize, and most of the time this is the case, I look at the idea and I go, this is not me. I don't want to make this. And very rarely I go, oh my God, this is insane. I can't believe I had this in my notebook. And as I grow older, I realize that the stuff that I don't want to make, that pile grows larger and larger. And I think that's a good thing because it's in my opinion an indicator that you're getting to know yourself better. And because life is finite, you realize that even the number of battles you can pick are finite, and the number of stories you can tell are finite. So you want to go all out with the stories that you really care about, that kind of make you lose sleep over. That's something that you're really passionate about, that you'd move mountains to tell. And that's very rare. It's extremely rare. So that's the reason why, and I have a hunch that this is the case for most artists. I may be wrong, but if you're an artist and you're watching this and you're listening to this conversation, please weigh in because I want to know how it's like for you. I really love what he's wearing. Oh, we changed days here. Hang on. I'm talking about this guy here. Anyway, let's move on. Too lazy to kind of like turn around and show you who I was talking about. What have I been working on? What is an idea that I want to get made? Well, there's one that I'm working on called Vatsan. It's spelled Vatsan, and it started off from a short story that I read on the internet called The Forgotten Employee. I think I think that's what that was called. It's a very popular internet story. It's called The Forgotten Employee. It's about this guy who, because of a clerical error, skips work. Sorry, let me do that again. It's about this guy who goes to office, but suddenly, because of a clerical error, he realizes that his name has been struck off the employee rolls, and he doesn't have any responsibilities anymore, which goes to show that he can come to work, he can sit in his chair, and he can wait, and no supervisor is going to turn up and say, hey, this is the work you need to do, and nobody's going to give him any work. And nobody's going to ask why he's sitting idle either. So he becomes literally the forgotten employee. And what happens is that he kind of starts enjoying the situation that he's in. He doesn't want to change the status quo, and he makes it a point to pretend to work, but kind of just while away his time in the office and enjoy collecting a paycheck in return. Who wouldn't, right? It sounds like a suburban fantasy, and that's exactly what drew me to it because I did a 9 to 5. I did a day job for the shortest time back in 2013, and I don't remember it being uh, remarkable or something that I found very memorable. I did 8 months of it, and uh, every day looked like the other, and there wasn't too much difference, and life felt too regimented, and it felt the routine was getting to me, and I couldn't experiment with my time. I couldn't go out of my comfort zone and explore like this is out of my comfort zone. I'm exploring. This is literally the second live stream that I'm doing, and because of the work schedule that a day jobber has, it kind of like sucks the life out of him. And by the end of the week, you're just tired and you want to sleep, and your Saturday, Sundays just get spent there. So it's about this guy who realizes that his name's not on the rolls. He realizes that he's free to do whatever he wants as long as he pretends to work. I think that in the story, he plays a lot of Snake. You remember the game on those old Nokia phones? He plays a lot of Snake, and he whiles away his time. I think he finishes the game multiple times. He keeps beating his high score, gets bored of it. Uh, I do not remember if he sneaks out of office. I think he does. I think he sneaks out of office as well. I think he gets hammered a lot, and he comes back just in time to kind of like punch out. And I think there was also this bit where he escapes from a supervisor who's basically auditing the company and making sure that they're weeding out non-essential staffers. So that was the inspiration for the film that I'm writing now. Uh, I have gone one step further to explore a few more themes. The premise is fairly similar. It's about a person who realizes that his name is not on the rolls, and he's free to do what he wants. But an antagonist comes along, and uh, he suddenly realizes that his days of uh, living this amazing life are now numbered. I did not know that there are streetcars in Paris. See this here? Streetcars. Amazing. Hope we can spot one. Right. But this is set in an Indian context, and it has a few more themes that are playing out. Wow, that's so pretty. That looks really nice. How many compartments is that? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. Let's see if these guys are interested in looking at us. Most certainly. He's interested. He's interested. Someone here is peeping. Oh, so nice. So glad I got to see something like this. I've ridden one of these I've rode on one of these. What's the right English word? Please pardon me if I'm speaking wrong English here, but I've used one of these in Dubai. It was a cool experience. I used it in the marina in Dubai. Shout out to my friend Siddharth Sharma for showing me around Dubai. I started a company with him and learned a lot through the process. The company no longer exists. I think it exists on paper still, but it no longer exists as an entity that's alive and active. But I learned a lot from that process, and I'd love to talk about it in another vlog. Is this a vlog? Stream? Same shit. Right. So the difference here is that what I want to do with this story is that I want this guy to sneak out of office, but I want this guy to sneak out of office for a reason, and that specific reason is that he goes on a date with his wife. And why he does that is because his name is Vatsan, by the way. I'm going to call him Vatsan so that you know I can drill that name in case you're a rich producer and you want to produce this movie. So the reason why he wants to go on a date with his wife is because in India there are a lot of conservative marriages, and his is one of those. He barely knows his wife when he got married to her. So he comes from a household that's extremely conservative. He's brought up by his mother and her two sisters, and they're extremely conservative. So all he did in his childhood was made to study and uh, keep his head down and live a disciplined life. And his mother made sure of that, so he never really experimented with his life. Didn't have time to truly get to know himself. It's a nice little bridge. And similarly, his mother chooses his bride for him, and she turns out to be a product of conservative upbringing herself. But when this opportunity presents itself, this opportunity of sneaking out of work, he convinces his wife that it makes a lot of sense for them to kind of like use this time to get out and explore themselves by exposing themselves to art, culture, drink. Well, they hit the clubs first, and they start getting drunk, and they get a feeler for alcohol and the arts. They start watching a lot of stand-up comedy, and they really enjoy themselves. They want to try it as well. So that's what he does. He gets out of work, meets his wife, who also gets out of his house by lying to his mother, and they meet at a small little comedy bar where which provides a platform for amateur comics to perform, and they really take a liking to long meandering conversation, uh, some sweet cocktails, and some diamonds in the rough, basically some occasional good open mic comics. Uh, while all of this is happening, while things keep getting heated up back in the office with a brand new auditor, she's a lady who has her own issues. We find out that although initially we think that she's extremely dictatorial and authoritative, we find out that there's things that's happening in her household as well that deserves our empathy. All that for later. But she's quite a menacing person, and she makes Watson's life hell. Uh, but he continues to sneak out and live dangerously. So this is something that I'm in the process of writing with another writer. Uh, he's my dear friend Gaurav, and we've been developing this in this lockdown, and we're very happy with the jamming sessions that we've done so far. We've been jamming for a month now. We speak on the phone, we talk, we just generally riff, and it's been a deeply satisfying journey. We're now in the stage of writing a treatment draft of the movie. Uh, A treatment draft is basically your movie written as a novel, and this is something that you send to the producers, and if they like it, look at the swag on this guy, smoking a cigarette, checking out the car, looking at the car, going big shit. So big deal, you got a camera. I got a cigarette. Weather report, guys. On this day, it was 12 degrees centigrade. I'm so glad it's in centigrade and not some weird Fahrenheit shit. Fuck you, America. You're weird. Why do you have to have weather in Fahrenheit? Literally nobody does that. There's a really funny name for people who do shit just for the sake of doing shit in my language. I don't remember it, but that name is funny. I'll bring it up in some other stream and tell you guys. I think it's Adhika Prasangi, but I may be wrong. I don't know if it's a Kannada word or a Sanskrit word. All right, I see some Mandarin, Korean kind of lettering here. Oriental lettering. Oriental is not supposed to be used anymore, right? I think that word is cancelled. The Western world decided, hey, we used Oriental too much. Let's stop it. Let's stop using Oriental. It's demeaning to them. Well, Asians didn't give a fuck to start with, but sure, you guys make the rules. The Western world, the Orient and the Occident, apparently. Whatever makes you happy. I realize that there's so much more I want to talk about when it comes to story ideas. And however, I kind of feel like stopping here because, hey, that's such a nice illustration on that vehicle. Such a pleasant surprise. I think we should make a moment out of this and end this stream. I told you guys about Vatsan. It's something that I'm really, really passionate about. Does it not know that? Okay, I don't think I can do it because I'm not logged in. Oops, sorry guys. I shall do it once this stream ends. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and thank you for watching whenever you watch this. Uh, I've been wondering why I'm doing these streams, and a lot of it is uh, the primary objective is to get to know myself better because I usually realize that when I vocalize things, I understand concepts better. In this case, I want to talk about the themes that have motivated me to pursue Watson despite it being an idea that's been in my head for about 4 years now. And the fundamental reason is that there's a bit of a dichotomy in my head about how to approach routine and discipline. My father and my mother both have done day jobs for the entirety of their lives, and they are some of the most disciplined people I know, and it's always fascinated me how they do it day in and day out. Like I told you guys, I've not held a day job for more than 6 months of my life, and I've been out of college for 7 years now. So for me, I've never felt like a day job is for me because I like the erratic schedule. Uh, it's not like I'm wayward and I'm not unproductive. I am fairly productive, but I don't like lockdown to, spending 9 to 5 at a particular spot. uh, Even though I do end up sometimes, like for instance, when I'm writing, I do end up going to the writer's room 5 days a week. There's some sort of comfort in knowing that after 4 months I'm not going to be in that room and it's going to be different when I'm going to write something else. So I like that flexibility, and my current lifestyle of being a screenwriter gives me that liberty. And however, I've always been fascinated by what it would be like to be someone like me in a job like my parents, uh, job like one that my parents do, and that is that question, that what if has fascinated me unendingly, and it also makes me see a lot of negatives in that system, but it also makes me see a lot of positives. So it's me kind of like deep diving into the pros and cons of uh, having a day job to get by, and how it could make some people thrive, and how it could make some people hate the process. But all in all, it's in my DNA to tell an uplifting story, and that's what Watson's going to be. And I'm very very eager and excited to see it materialize and get out of my computer and become a thing where people are actually shooting, and then it becomes a final cut, and someone promotes it, and then it releases, and the world gets to see it, and it's no longer mine. But it's a long way to go. Uh, but this helps. Talking about it helps, and kind of like liberates me, frees me, and uh, it's very therapeutic. It's very very therapeutic. Thank you so much for watching this stream. That's about it from me.